In 64 CE, a fire started in a circus in Rome called Maximus. The summer winds spread the fire to inflammable goods stores. The fire lasted for about a week and left only 4 out of the 14 districts intact.
The cause of the fire is one of antiquity's greatest mysteries.
Now, where was the emperor at this time? He was in a coastal resort called Antium, which is in modern-day Anzio. While Rome was destroyed, people were killed and houses were set ablaze. Evidence suggests that he committed this inhuman crime. But he wasn't the only evil person in his family. His own mother was a cold-blooded murderer. So first, let's delve into the mysterious depths of Nero's life. Nero Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, commonly known as Nero, was born in 37 CE. He was an unfortunate young boy. His father died when Nero, Agrippina the youngest son, was 3. He didn't receive his third of the property, for Caligula, his co-heir, stole the whole thing. His prophecies foretold horrible events, and his own father, Gnaeus Domitius Ahenobarbus, said that any son of Agrippina was going to be cruel and detestable. According to the historian Suetonius, Agrippina the Younger, Nero's mother, was then exiled, and Nero was raised by his aunt, Domitia Lupidia the Elder. Being deprived of his luxuries that he had before his father's death, Nero was tutored by a dancer and a barber. Then a turning point happened in his life. For 12 years, he'd experienced many tragedies. Now, when Tiberius Claudius Drusus Caesar became emperor in 41 CE, Nero's inheritance was restored. Claudius, the emperor at the time, eventually married Nero's mother and then adopted Nero because of the adolescent's remarkable performance of the Troy game in the circus. Claudius died on 54 CE, and Nero became emperor when he was about 17. The new ruler did many juvenile crimes at night. He put on a disguise, beat up people, stabbed them if they resisted, pushed their bodies into the sewer, broke into shops, and sold his stolen goods at auction. As he became older, he started to become even more evil and deranged. He lived in extravagance and made expensive palaces. He wanted to build another one called the Domus Aurea, which means golden house in Latin, right on the slums of Rome. The land was too expensive. What better way to make this land cheaper than to burn the whole land into ashes? Also, he wanted to redesign Rome, but the Senate wouldn't let him. If he were to burn most of Rome, including the Forum where the Senate lives, the Senate would be forced to give in. That is why Nero set fire to Rome. So how did he do this? On July 19th, 64 CE, a sweltering day, Nero went to Anzio. Before he went there, he ordered some people to pretend to be intoxicated and start a large fire. They did this. Some historians believe that the cause of this fire was an accident instead of an arson, because when Nero came back, he took control of the fire brigade and opened his palace for the homeless. But this man came back right when the fire was about to burn down his palace. Coincidence? I think not. Also, gangs made the fire larger and shouted, "We are acting under higher authority." Who would order them to do this? And how did the fire mysteriously reignite after being doused? After the fire, the most notorious and infamous ruler of Rome, Nero, didn't tend to his people. He built another expensive palace. To redesign Rome and make the real estate prices cheaper, Nero, the young emperor of Rome, started a colossal fire on July 19th of 64 CE. The fire, a critical turning point in history, started the decline of Nero and the persecution of Christians. Most historians of that time believe that Nero played the lyre, a harp-like instrument, while watching Rome burn. Gaius Cornelius Tacitus says, quote, "The emperor appeared on a private stage and sang of the destruction of Troy." Close quote. This man committed this arson. He set fire to Rome. He burned 10 out of the 14 districts of Rome. He started a conflagration that lasted for a week. Though he wasn't the person everyone blamed, he should have been persecuted and reprehended. Now let's explore the horror of the aftermaths of this flame. After the fire, Nero received what he wanted. He redesigned Rome, made a city named after him called Neropolis, and made a new palace. Tacitus says, quote, Nero was aiming at the glory of founding a new city and calling it by his name. Close quote. No one dared to count the dead, for there were too many. People were killed by the fire, which reached 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit, or the falling debris. Many blamed Nero for the crime. The Praetorian prefect, Tigellinus, suggested to use a group of people who were defenseless as a scapegoat. The Christians were perfect. They were small, they were hated, and most importantly, they allegedly committed crimes just like this. With Nero's approval, Tigellinus immediately started to spread the rumor. Dr. Knox of Boise State University states, quote, although most Romans were astute and cynical enough to realize what Nero was doing, the gesture was sufficient to diffuse the very real threat of rioting. And so the crisis passed. Close quote. This started the persecution of Christians. The Christians were sadistically fed to lions and made into human torches. Most of the other Romans watched with glee. In 65 CE, a gruesome year in which thousands of people were killed, Romans started to come to their senses. They started to protest. After this year, Nero went into a steady decline. He died on July 9, 64 CE. After the Senate chose Galba as their emperor, the Senate ordered German cohorts to stop protecting Nero, and after Epaphroditus and Nero both thrust a dagger into Nero's, that was the end of the cursed emperor. The Great Fire of Rome was a critical turning point in history because many people perished in the fire, Nero and his city fell, and it started the gruesome persecution of innocent Christians.